In New York City, John Wick prepares to exact revenge against the High Table while hiding underground with the Bowery King. He travels to Morocco and kills the Elder, the one who sits above the table. In response, the Marquis Vincent de Graymont, a member of the High Table, summons New York Continental Hotel manager Winston and his concierge, Sharon. De Graymont explains that the High Table has given him unlimited resources to find and kill John Wick. He chastises Winston for his failure to assassinate John. As punishment, de Graymont strips Winston of his duties as manager, declares him excommunicado, destroys the Continental, and executes Sharon. De Graymont then travels to Paris and enlists Cain, a blind, retired high-table assassin, to kill his old friend John, threatening to murder Cain's daughter otherwise. John takes refuge at the Osaka Continental, run by his friend Shimazu Koji. De Graymont's Lieutenant Chitty, backed by high-table assassins and Cain, arrives to investigate the hotel. Shimazu's daughter Akira, the hotel's concierge, evacuates the hotel just before the High Table deconsecrates it, igniting a melee. John fights through waves of armored assassins, and a showdown with Cain is interrupted by a bounty hunter who calls himself Mr. Nobody. He aids in John's escape after determining the contract money for killing John to be insufficient. Cain allows a wounded Akira to flee after reluctantly killing her father. John returns to New York and meets with a vengeful Winston at Karen's gravesite. Winston advises John to invoke an old high-table tradition to challenge de Graymont to a duel. Winning would free John of all obligations to the High Table, but he can only request a duel on behalf of a crime family. He travels to the Berlin headquarters of the Ruska Roma crime syndicate, with whom he had severed ties, to request readmission. His adoptive sister Katia agrees to his request in exchange for John killing Killa, a High Table member who murdered her father. Although Killa sets up an ambush at his nightclub, John still manages to kill him and regain his status. Winston relays John's formal challenge to de Graymont. He requests the New York Continental be rebuilt, with him reinstated as manager, should John win. In Paris, John and de Graymont decide the parameters of their duel, dueling pistols on the following sunrise at Sacré-Cœur, in a meeting moderated by the Harbinger, the table's emissary. De Graymont nominates a reluctant Cain to fight in his place. John and Winston will be executed should either fail to appear on time. The Bowery King arrives in Paris to give John a pistol and a new ballistic suit. De Graymont intends to prevent John from arriving at the duel in time by placing a $26 million bounty on him. John fights off hordes of assassins on his way to Sacré-Cœur, including Mr. Nobody, who negotiates a bounty increase to $40 million. During their confrontation, John prevents Chitty from killing Mr. Nobody's beloved dog. A stunned Mr. Nobody decides to abandon his pursuit of John. After Cain and Mr. Nobody assist John in fighting off several assassins, including Chitty, whom Mr. Nobody kills, at a long staircase that leads to Sacré-Cœur, they reach the summit just in time for the duel. John and Cain inflict serious wounds on each other through 2 rounds of dueling. The third round comes to a halt when Cain severely wounds John. Demanding the right to administer the coup de grâce, de Graymont eagerly swaps places with Cain. However, John, who had not yet fired his third bullet, shoots and kills an unsuspecting de Graymont. The Harbinger grants Cain and John their freedom from the High Table, and Winston is reinstated. After collapsing on the staircase, John reflects upon his life and marriage before succumbing to his injuries. Some time later, Winston and the Bowery King bid farewell to John at his tombstone, located next to his late wife Helen's. B-11. In a post-credits scene, Cain returns to Paris to reunite with his daughter but is approached by the vengeful Akira, who brandishes a weapon.